Norfolk Day? What the fuck is Norfolk Day? I didn't say I'd do anything for a third. Oh, hello. Welcome back. I've just been politely involved. I'm telling them I'm doing it. Shut up. I've just been reminded that I said I would do a nice little reading for Norfolk Day. Because here at Humour Comedy, we wanted to mark Norfolk Day with comedy. Because Humour Comedy, Norfolk, they kind of go together. I didn't know there was such a thing as Norfolk Day. Turns out it's a family fun day. Hey. But so we decided to read a book. Now, obviously, I had been reading to the nation. We'd done Wolf Hall, and then I'd stopped because, well, it all got a bit much, and the mental health took a tumble, and I decided to, I would just sit on the sofa doing something far more productive, like watching Star Trek films, which is really good fun, but don't watch Star Trek 5. No. But yes, so we decided we would do a reading, and we decided to read a children's classic, Black Beauty by Anna Sewell, a much-loved children's author who, thankfully, so far, hasn't come out as a transphobic bigot. So call that a win. And this book is not without its controversies, of course. When it came out, certain publicans in Norfolk got very upset about the fact it was about a black horse. Apparently all horses matter. So they had to get round that small problem. What else? It's been a funny old time, hasn't it? All this, we've been doing this since March. March the 23rd, if you were paying attention, or March the 16th, if you listened to Matt Hancock. It's just so much has happened in that time. It's been such a full-on year with everything going on. We had statues. Statues were a thing for about a week. And people got very upset that we were tearing down statues of people we'd never heard of. And they got upset and they kept saying, well, we never learn from history. If we don't have statues, you need statues to learn from history. And they are absolutely right, because I've never heard of Adolf Hitler. And then we had man-sized bats. Man-sized bats were everywhere for about a day. That was really exciting. And we also had killer hornets. Killer hornets, where did they go? Did they kill people? We don't know. Mainstream media aren't telling us. You have to get the news from the real people, my friend. Had a brilliant one today where a man who said that the lack of evidence was indeed, in and of itself, evidence. I think that's just absolute genius thinking. You can't fault that. I mean, you get the police coming together and they go, well, there's no body, there's no weapon, there's no blood. And the guy turns around and goes, see, I told you it's a serial killer. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And then we have the government making ridiculous proclamations left, right and centre. They came up with a brilliant phrase, eat out to help out. And I thought, finally, a government campaign I can get on board with. And my girlfriend was absolutely delighted. We really got stuck into that one for a while. But it just goes to show, look, the Tory government, the fact that no one saw that was an innuendo tells you everything you need to know about the Tories. They're happy fucking the poor, but they can't pleasure women. Who knew? And then, of course, we had old Dominic Cummings, ironically named, given the eat out to help out idea. We had him, and he decided that he wasn't feeling well, so he drove 300 miles north to not feel well somewhere else at a time when no one was allowed to go anywhere. But he could, because he's allowed, because he's special. And he came up with this really, really, really good idea, where if you're not sure if you can see properly, drive half an hour somewhere, spin round in a circle and drive home again. If you don't crash and die, your eyesight's fine. And so I took that on board and I thought, if that's the way we test things, I'm good. I can do this. So it turns out I can't drive while drunk. But I did the government test and they can't sue me. Ha! That's all right then. Dear. And then, of course, America's in serious trouble. Their numbers are going through the roof. I mean, there was a point when we were the second most contagious country in the world. Sadly, now we're only third. We've dropped down below Brazil. So the Tories aren't even that great at killing their own people. But Trump, you see, you can't tell the two apart, can you? They're basically the same person, just with a slightly different accent. But Trump has decided, in his genius cleverness, that it's not the fact that they have that many cases that's the problem. It's the fact that they're doing that many tests to prove they have that many cases that's the problem. So, stop the tests, no more cases. Genius. That's why he is the businessman he is. And actually, I think Boris is on board with this kind of thinking because he's never tested to see how many children he has. Got round the problem. That was fine. But then, of course, we were all doing exercise when all this started. We were all getting up every morning and doing our Joe Wick, which I took to mean something completely different and got caught by the girlfriend one morning. That was awkward. But yes, we were doing our exercises and stuff, and people were cycling everywhere when they were finally allowed to, and that seemed like a good thing. I decided it was outdoors, and I wasn't really a big fan, so I decided to stick to my exercise bike because I've discovered you can read comics while on an exercise bike, but you can't do that on the open road. No, not twice anyway. But oh yeah, we ended up doing weird stuff as well. I got into music. I'd forgotten about that. I never actually cared about that much anyway back then. Bought an entire box set of Dio albums. No one does that. It was surprisingly cheap and readily available. Who knew? And then I got into Aha. I started listening to Aha, and I wanted to get some of their albums, but couldn't find them anywhere. I looked everywhere, couldn't find them. Ah, dear. And then pubs opened. Pubs finally opened, and everyone lost their shit. They got so excited. Everyone was absolutely ecstatic at the very thought that they could go out and start drinking at 6 a.m. And I just thought, if you had to wait till July the 4th to realise you could start drinking at 6 a.m., you hadn't been paying attention during lockdown, had you? Some of us started that before lockdown. But there we go. And of course, one of the things about being stuck at home is you tended to interact with people on social media and stuff. I've been doing things like this, and I've been arguing with racists and bigots and climate change deniers and dinosaur deniers and people who think that wearing a mask will kill you. I've worn one, still not dead. And people who think that the whole thing is just a complete hoax started by 5G. Remember when 5G was the thing we all were scared of? God, that seems like an age ago, doesn't it? Utterly ridiculous. But yes, I spent a bit of time on Twitter recently. It hadn't been there for a while. And you know what? I discovered I've been blocked by Kay Burley. So, this year isn't a complete bust. Anyway, we're here to read Black Beauty. And we will start, as tradition dictates, with chapter 1. Are you sitting comfortably? Have a sweet. Shall we? The first place that I can well remember was a large, pleasant meadow with a pond of clear water in it.